Right, you wouldn't fucking believe this is the second time that we've recorded this, simply because Jake forgot to press the recording button, and we had some phenomenal analogies. So I think we'll just go straight in
With the one we just
the
saying.
conversation that we were having. So our conversation was um, that fad diets were shit in plural. There were some positives, but there's also a lot of negatives. But then we related it back to how most people don't see fat loss as an 82 game season in basketball or a 38 game in a Premier League. So we were going to say, what is our starting lineup for a 4-4-2 formation when looking at your big players in fat loss? So my goalkeeper was time management and routine, because you need that consistency, you need that ability to know what you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it. Your goalkeeper was
Communication based on the client communication is freaking key. You need to know exactly what stage of the client is at every point in time. And with is recording, isn't it?
yes, yeah, it's
Okay,
recorded.
also had to double check that one because I want to do part three. Yeah, communication is needed in any circumstance, no matter what the goal, if it's fat loss, anything. You always need communication. And your centre back was
The two centre backs are big things: consistency and discipline.
mm,
Uh, you need those both as your rocks at the back to move forwards and move backwards and go yes or go no, or be able to uh, run the rest of the field, because you've got those two big rocks at the back.
my right wing back because I've been a bit more aggressive on the right back. Reverse countdown. Based on the fact that you need to have some sort of deadline in place, you need to have something that's going to hold you accountable to make sure on that journey of the fat loss, which is going to have some hiccups, you need to have a deadline to ramp up that pressure. The way I was going to say it to my the team, I'll be honest, like imagine going to school and not doing your homework. You're going to feel pretty shit knowing you're going to get told off, right?
Yeah.
So if you had a deadline in place by like let's say 3 p.m. to go finish that homework, I guarantee you would have sorted it before you left school.
Yeah.
So for me, reverse countdowns, and then my centre backs, one was consistency. Discipline's a freaking good one, and I think
Yeah.
that's definitely needed. But I'm trying not to copy Nathan this one.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, consistency, and then the back will probably just be consistency and support network. I'm going to say support network because on the back of it, like no fat loss journey can happen by itself. Like if you're married, if you've got kids, if you've got a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, they do need to be on board. Like for us, we have a lot of like the Indian niche, and I think on the back of it, what you're saying today is like they need that support from their family based on the fact that they need to understand their nutrition and Indian cuisine is very, very normal for the parents, the elders to be cooking.
Yes.
So they need a support system to get behind them. Same with your husband, same with your daughter. Like you going out to go to the gym, you need support for someone else to take the lead in terms of what's going on in home life. So I think yeah,
Yeah.
that was a long one for me, but support for sure.
No, that's good. I think support could equally be your left back and your right back, because they're
Mm,
very representative of that too.
yeah.
I think I'm going to stay with support on both right and left back, because I think equally you need double that. So consistency, routine as my goalkeeper, consistency and discipline as my centre back, hard ass fucking centre backs, baldy headed guys.
So
Centre
both Van
six,
Dijk and
yeah, Yap Stam. I'm
Yap
going Yap
Stan.
Stam.
Yes.
He's definitely disciplined, isn't he?
Mm.
And then I'm going
Do
for
it in Vidic.
yes, that's
Nemanja
a
Vidic.
great one. Or even if you want to go down Carragher route, you can go down that if you want to. He's not
Sir Richard Dunn.
yeah, yeah. The run that David done, yeah. And then you got support network either side. I think for my midfield, centre midfield, I'm going to go two midfielders. I'm going to go boundaries. So once you set boundaries and once you have the discipline behind you and you have the consistency behind you, your boundaries are what's going to make you do the things that you need to do. So say yes to certain things, say no to certain things. It governs your responses. Like my right wing and my left wing will be things like meal prep and getting flexible food sources in there. But you can't have flexible food sources and you can't have nice foods or like going out for dinner without there being that level of mid ground, which is boundaries. You can't say yes to things, you can't say no to things. So having those are going to be super important.
100%. I think I'm going to go for. I might change my formation up to 4-4-2 to 4-3-3.
Okay, good.
So my defensive midfielder would be your non-negotiables
Yes, that's a good one.
because like it's very similar to boundaries. Like non-negotiables, they need to be ticked off every single week.
Yeah.
And if you have that behind you with discipline and consistency and support and a reverse countdown, that defensive midfielder will play very freaking well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's what I was going for. And then my two probably more attacking midfielders. would just probably be intensity and just progression.
Yeah.
Because they're two very similar things you need. Consistent intensity, ramping up speed, because every single time you drop 1 kilogram, the next kilogram is probably going to be a little bit harder.
Yeah.
If you're not ramping up that intensity, it's not going to happen. And then the general progression, you need to consistently step out of the comfort zone. So the more you can do that, the better.
Yeah.
And then if you got for wingers,
I think my wingers would be food flexibility, and then my other one would be meal structure. So they're the things I talk about massively all of the time. You're not going to have any type of success adhering to a diet without there being food structure, like what you're having for breakfast, what you're having for lunch, what you're having for dinner, what you're having as your snack, when you're having it, what you're doing. And then on the other side is food flexibility, which is if you eat the same shit every single day, you're going to get bored of it. You're not going to do it. Therefore, you're always going to run into a hurdle, and you need that right wing, right mid, and the left with to push on forwards, and that allows the strikers to get the support that they need.
Yeah.
Which is when you have food flexibility, you feel that you're not on a restrictive diet. When you've got food structure, you know what you're eating and how you're eating, so you're not making poor decisions.
Yeah, 100%. So big ones. Who are your strikers?
I think my two strikers would be fuck. This is hard.
I've got one that's going to throw you massively.
Go on.
I've only got one striker because I'm doing 4-3-3.
Okay, go on.
So my wingers would be meal prep.
Yeah.
And then my left winger would probably be. It's a tough one. Left winger is actually quite a tough one. Yeah, meal prep, and then my left winger would probably be. I'll probably say what you said about terms of boundaries.
Yeah.
I think boundaries are important, but my striker, and it's going to throw a lot of people off. Diet breaks.
That's it. I was going to think about that. Yeah.
Because, like, for me, no successful transformations happened without a diet break.
Yeah.
Because it's just that reinvigoration of being like, okay, awesome. I've worked this hard. I dropped my first 10 kilograms. Now I'm going to have a diet break for the weekend or potentially a week. Then I'm going to go again for the next 10 kilograms.
Yeah.
And it's that novelty that makes a huge impact. So, yeah, I think my striker, my Lionel Messi, is going to be diet breaks.
That's a banger. my Haaland or my Firmino or like Fernando Torres would be weighing food. Like you can do the rest of it, and that's fine. Like the rest of it, you'll still get goals from your wingers, you'll still get goals from your centre mid, you'll still get going for your left wingers, but you can guarantee 30 goals a season, 40 goals a season if you weigh things accurately.
That's a very good one.
If you don't do that, then you're leaving things on the table, and you need a consistent variable. So it will make success the best thing possible if you weigh food. And getting really good at that for a short space of time would be incredible for your fat loss results.
And on the back of it, people probably thought that we always say like very aggressive things for the striker.
Yeah.
But then when I said diet break and you said that, it just like resonated that it's not all aggression is huge, don't get me wrong. Like we push people.
Yeah.
But just that the mindset of like weighing your foods and having a bit of novelty is freaking powerful.
Yeah. That's because people think that the things that move you forward are wrong. Like they think that moving people forward is the cardio. No one's mentioned training or cardio, right? Maybe steps need to be in there, but they could be a centre midfielder for sure. But the rest of it is all these things related. They're all mindset tools. They're all routine tools. They're all psychological differences between people get results that people don't get results. And if you've looked at those 11 things and you have one of them, which is maybe through flexibility, you're not
diet breaks.
Diet breaks. Yeah, you got your striker, but you ain't got your other 10. If you don't have those, things are not going to be successful. So it's a big thing. After we've looked at the fat loss fantasy football, it brings on a good
team.
Yeah, it's a good team. But when did you start to think about like this way? Like, what was the transition between your own dietary failures and then the dietary successes?
So I think my biggest thing was like I've never been one of these personal trainers or online coaches that's been like in jaw-dropping shape, and I've never really like put my mindset to it to actually go about and make that achievement happen. So I think I was doing it for the wrong reasons, and I think one of the biggest things is you need to do it for the right reasons.
Yeah,
and I know it's a lot easier said than done, but if someone came to me and said that this one is 20 kilograms, there's more to it. There's definitely more to it. So you want to 20 kilograms for what reason? Like the whole why? What is your reason why? So I think my reason why was that I just wanted to kind of have that lean in front of front mentality, and that was the wrong reason. Because the right reason should have been I should have been doing it for me to just get in freaking awesome shape to prove myself that I can do it.
Yeah.
So I think that's one biggest mindset shift that I had from working with coach last year to coach this year, is that I'm doing it for me, because on the back of it, like no one's going to do it for me. I don't need to. You don't need to impress anyone else. You're doing it for your own reasons. And yeah, photo shoot coming at the end of this year.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because you get pulled into the industry. No, you get pulled into the industry to want to help people, and then there becomes this big thing about how people perceive you as your own market. Like before the influencer, before the old person that was content creator, YouTuber, there was personal trainers that were judged based on the way that they looked.
That's how you used to sell.
Yeah, that's how you used to sell everything. It's like, okay, you got a six pack, I want one. That makes sense. You know, I wish you could do it and everything. Like, oh, your finances look great, so I'm going to choose you. Like,
Yeah.
you don't look like that. You look at morals and stuff like that. So, yeah, for me, it was a long struggle, like a lot of time back in 16, 17, 18, trying to get in shape. So I was like 82 kilos when I was 16, wearing XL t-shirts. And I was like 5 foot nothing. So for me, it was one of those where I was like, fuck, I need to do something. I went on my own little fad diet, lost 20 kilos and gained it back very, very quickly. Which
Vicious circle.
yeah, vicious circle. But then, you get into it and you start making the changes that you want to. And I only really made the changes for myself when I set my own goals. So beforehand, it was a need to kind of get it in shape because of school and stuff like that. Then I went on some diets for a company that I used to work with because they made you get in shape for that, and they weren't successful because I didn't want to do it. Then the moment I said, like you said, the why,
Yeah.
you flip it and you're like, oh, actually, I want to do this. And a lot of clients see the same thing, right? How many of our Indian clients have been like, oh, my auntie said that I'm fat at a wedding. Now I've signed up.
Huge.
It's huge.
Yeah. But again, that's not the right reason why.
No.
And like everything you just said then about like UP, like the fad diet you went on when I was younger, it's the wrong reason why.
Yeah.
Like the reason why people should get in shape is their own personal reason. If it's they got a wedding coming up and I look amazing on the wedding day, so when I look back at the photos in 20 years time, they're feeling like holy freaking shit. Like I literally looked amazing. It shouldn't be someone called me fat.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like I'm in an industry full of better coaches. I need to be a part of that environment.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's funny when people like bash trainers who aren't in good shape, because the way I kind of see it is that your results do the speaking.
Yeah.
And fuckers.
Fucking love it.
The funny thing was I don't have my glasses on. So
Yeah.
like I'm squinting at them and
Yeah.
I'm getting fucking dirty looks.
You need to. Fucking speaking over us for hours.
Yeah.
So you were saying you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, people want to lose weight for the wrong reasons. Like, and that may seem very like minute compared to what the actual reason is.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to drop body fat because you've been told you're fat, if you've been told like you're overweight, if you're trying to do it to impress someone else, it's completely the wrong reason.
Yeah.
The right reason is that you have a goal. Like you have a goal because you've got a set date, which is your wedding, or it's because you actually want to feel confident going out and having an Instagram photo taken of you.
Yeah.
Like those are more like the right reasons, even if it is materialistic. It's a reason for you, not for someone else. Because as soon as that reason for someone else comes into your reason to get in shape, it's game
Completely.
over. Never going to happen.
Because at that moment in time when you've created an external validation method and then you either don't get it or you do get it, it changes the parameters of what you wanted. So for example, if you tried to lose weight because you were going on like the revenge diet after you lose you break up, right? The breakup diet are some of the best, most effective diets going, but they're most horrific when you get then into a relationship again. So you see it all the time is people on it, not a single gram missed, 15 kilos down. I'm feeling so much better about myself. I'm now dating again. They go on a date, they find someone that's potentially all right, and then boom, 15 kilos back because that's what they did it for.
Yeah.
And they have no motivation to stay where they were before because everything was associated with when I get to X, I will do Y. And that becomes the hardest part where you give up your own stuff, your own goals to get the validation of others.
It's like you want that little tick from your mate.
Yeah.
But you
Or
don't need
the new girlfriend or the new
or new
boyfriend.
girlfriend, new
Yeah.
boyfriend, or just someone's peer at work.
Yeah.
Like you just want a little tick from them. You want the praise from someone who you don't need praise from.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think as soon as people understand what their core reason is, what their core reason why it is, don't be wrong, it's not a do and end all. It's not your fantasy 11 football team that's going to get you the result, but it's going to kickstart that result, and then the rest comes with it. So I think, yeah, when you go about this journey, make sure you have the core reason why you want to get from A to B, not to just to impress everyone else, but to doing it for you.
Yeah. And that solidifies over time as well. It's not something that's come straight away. Like you may start a fitness journey for an external reason, but as long as you find personal joy and investment within that process, I think it would be quite reasonable to start off like that because we can't change everybody's mind when they first have a knee-jerk reaction. The auntie that says this, or wife has mentioned this, or my husband doesn't get into it with me anymore. So now I'm going to try and get a worldie of a body so he can see me and go, "Wow, I really want to take that down," or like
Take that down.
take that down. Like is he going to do that? No, because the reason why he's probably not taking it down is totally different reason. It's probably stressful at work. Or it's not doesn't want to do that anymore. Maybe you're an asshole in the other parts of the day.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
That's a very good point, though. And like, this is something I've had so many conversations with people about, but it's never really been openly spoken about.
Yeah.
So the whole relationship scenario, like the boy, the girl, or girl, sorry,
Yeah,
or boy.
bye. Yeah.
But on the back of that, it's like if someone's not looking after themselves, does that deem them unattractive to the partner, or is it the partner's fault? Like the way,
Conversation.
yeah,
Such a
it's good, right? I've always thought about this because, like, me and Mo, like my wife, have an awesome relationship where we're just both just very content with each other. But then we see it time and time again, and it's where people try and they fall out of the relationship because one's not looking after themselves.
Yeah.
But do you think it's the role of the partner to try and look after that person, or what I kind of think, and I know some people are gonna fucking hate me for
Can't
this.
do it.
People should fucking look after themselves.
100,000,000%. Do you think Millie would be like, "Oh no, I need to pick you up down"? Like, no, it's just like you need to sort of console yourself out and do it forward.
That's what I mean. It's like it's your responsibility to look after yourself because then you are, as cliche says, like the best person for yourself for your partner.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to carry the weight or carry the load of your partner.
Yeah.
So you look after yourself, partner looks after themselves, you're both gonna be happy.
Yeah. And there will be points in a relationship where, in every facet, someone will bring another person up. Like I remember when I was younger, there was periods where my dad didn't have a job, my mum did, and my dad would look after me. And then my mum got a job, and then my dad went back to university and got himself in as a secondary school teacher. My mum was taking all the responsibility there, and there was this flip flop personally and responsibly for me. And I always say that, like we say that with Millie and stuff like that. Like there's periods of like this year or last year where I've like stepped up in certain areas, and now she's stepping up massively because of my knee replacement. So like there's always a flux, but I don't think there's an excuse for personal responsibility of the physical self.
Yeah.
Like how you act, how you respond, can be determined by the environment that you're in, 100%, or the mindset that you're in. Hence my knee replacement at the moment, but that doesn't absolve you from the responsibility.
Yeah.
I've had a busy week. Yeah, I understand. But are you going to do something about it or not? When you diet, people I'll get anxious or get really frustrated or I get really like short with people. Still a choice. How you respond when you get home from a busy day at work to open those pack of crisps is a choice. How you respond to saying no to things and saying yes to things is a choice. It's just that it gets lost in the whole personal responsibility realm, which then people don't want to have that conversation. Like it's an immensely difficult conversation to have with someone when they're sitting across from you, and you're like, you don't really look after yourself anymore.
You've put on a few kilograms. I actually don't want to,
Yeah.
It's like you couldn't think of anything worse of a conversation to have. But if we went back to the mindset of everyone's after themselves, I get it. People don't agree with this, but what can go wrong with it?
Yeah.
Like,
I actually think the biggest thing is not the outcome that happens. It's knowing that, because we value health, we value fitness, we value like in some ways looking after yourself. Maybe I don't do my skincare routine enough, whatever, or that I don't get my haircut enough, whatever. But but it's the attitude around it.
Yeah.
The attitude of not caring is unattractive. The attitude when you care about it. Maybe if you both care about it, you can bond about how those fitness wankers, eat chicken and rice when I'm eating a Domino's with my bird, whatever. But the people that, if you care, it's values. If you care about something, the other person used to care about something and then they don't anymore, there's a drop in value.
Yeah.
There's a drop in perceptive attraction to that person or the ability to bond with them.
Because the key values that you probably loved when you first met that person that they had, then dropped.
Yeah.
And then back to the question, whose responsibility is it?
It's personal. It's personal. Like I know for me, when I look at my relationship with Mills, I know when I get super busy, I don't communicate very well. That's not her responsibility. So it's my responsibility to be more communicative. And like I know that there's periods of time when there's, oh my fucking god, I don't know if you can hear that as a podcast, but there's a fucking drill in the background. Anyway, we're going to carry on, and I'm going to go and chin some cunts after this. I'm just going to literally I'm going to start bringing pieces of paper around saying recording, fuck off.
Oh man.
So I think it's a personal responsibility, 100%. And once you can gather that, the other person can support you because you can have that communication to be like, yeah, probably not looking the way that I want to look, but here's the reasons why. Okay, are you going to do something about it? And that's when you know you're in a relationship that is loving and caring. Because like, okay, well, what can we do about it? What can we support you? Can we get different foods in? Can we go for walks in the evening? Can we do this, that, and the other? Whereas if you don't have the same value system, and there isn't the values are vastly different, that's how relationships change dynamics.
And that's when it fucks up.
Yeah.
As soon as you hit that point where one just stop caring about one, it goes to zero and it doesn't happen.
Also, there's this interesting paradigm, I don't know if you've had it yet, where one person in a relationship does the opposite. So their values were dog shit. And then now the person goes, oh, I want to change my health and fitness. Da, 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 da. Then there's this paradox again, where it's like it's on the upward trend, where this person is doing all they can from a health perspective. This person doesn't want to change. And then there becomes resistance between the new way of living that they have, which is, I want to be healthier. I want to go out for walks. I don't want to drink as much. I don't want to drink the wine on a Tuesday night. I want to go to the gym. Then this other person below hasn't changed his value system because he probably got dobbed into it, or she got dobbed into it because I'm going to start this thing over here. And he's like, oh, yeah, okay, fine. You're going to start that diet that you started 4 times ago. Then it's a real change.
Yeah.
And the next minute they're like, oh, now we spend less time together because you're at the gym, and we don't get to go and drink wine together because you're doing this. Have you ever had that before?
I have. Yeah, actually, definitely have. So for anyone who's an OT watching this, like, you know, when you join the OT, the first like milestone is just graft. And coming from a background where like you used to work hard but not smart, but now you work smart but hard, but also pretty damn freaking hard.
Yeah.
And the PT gym floor background is that Mole completely understood it. Like she's seen me working, she's seen me like literally grafting my ass off doing PT sessions, literally from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. And then back becoming an online coach, we had this like it was during lockdown, so this weird point where I was consistently working, and Mold didn't have anything to do. So she saw my value change at that stage because during that whole national lockdown, everyone was just like tranquilo to go out. They're just chilling, Netflix, Coronas. It was hot. Not sponsored by, but it was hot. And I think that kind of saw Mole. Like she just saw it and she wanted to be a part of it. So her values, so mine changed, but then her values changed to in line with mine. Hence why she's now coaching me. Because she saw how passionate I was, and she loves helping people as well. So I think that's quite a good like way that you can see that happening. Like if you rise, today rise with you. Or the day's put you down. Like I've heard it so many times when someone comes, like they try to do something new, they try a new diet, or they're going back to the gym for the first time in years, and they just get freaking rinsed for it. Like a prime example, my client Mike. So he used to have panic attacks, anxiety attacks all the freaking time. He's a train driver, freaking awesome salaries, train drivers. And he used to get freaking ripped from his mates, from his sisters, husband, everyone, purely about the fact that he's trying to change and do something better for him, come away from panic attacks, come away from anxiety, and just feel more confident in himself. But he was getting digged. The one thing that didn't stop Mike was the fact that he was seeing him change. Like the panic attacks will go in, anxiety attacks will go in, and then on the back of it, he's now the most confident, like fuck it mentality lad you would ever see. Still a train driver, still like a husband to Tanja, who's also a coach at Beyond. And you just see a completely different mindset, and you're always going to have that people. So I think the best analogy was actually one that Adam told me about the elevator. It's like you can have 10 friends, you're all going to elevator at once. Let's say when the elevator rises, that's you getting close towards your goals. Every time that elevator stops at a floor, someone gets off. It's cool, it happens. Next one, someone gets off. Next one, someone gets off. When you get to the top floor, that's who you realise who your good friends and pals are, and who are going to be your support network here on now. Because at the top floor, you realise who's going to been with you for the entire ride. And that really resonated with me because I lost loads of friends when I first started like my online coaching platform because I was getting busier and busier. My values were different. Like my values changed, their values were the same, and it happens. But I think one of the key things is that whole list analogy always stuck in my head. Because now the people with me are just like pretty much everyone here in Dubai.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculously great analogy. And I think that you really get to see what happens when you do change that next level. You go to that next level. You take that first leap forwards. I think it's not to say that people have to do exactly what you did. Obviously, it's great that someone matched your values, but what you generally find is that they either have to do one thing: they have to step up, or they have to surrender. And that surrender word is gay as fuck. But like it's like you don't have to be submissive.
It's the
It's not
best word for it.
gay.
If it's the best word for it, it's
Yeah,
not like
yeah. They have to surrender to the idealism that you will do something different. Now, that could be hard for people that have attached some of their worth in you, where you're changing, but they valued your opinion on how you drank wine together or how you went out for dinners and all that type of stuff. But they need to surrender and say, hey, you're doing that. I know it's a benefit to you to do those particular things. I don't want to do those things, so I'm going to do something for myself.
yeah.
And that exposes what they don't have
Mm.
because they were externally having you or they were having the other person to make up what they were doing
Yeah.
as a plural together, or they were doing extra things outside. But when you take away that external extra bit, you're left with a gaping hole. And that gaping hole is then you have to sit with yourself and say, okay, well, we're not doing that anymore because she's off doing or he's off doing that, and that's really good for them, and you should be happy for them.
Yeah.
But that means you've got some stuff to do for yourself.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling guilty that they're off doing that and you probably should do that, maybe that's a sign to tell you that you either need to find something to fill your time with, or you need to find
your value.
yeah, your variation of that. So if you don't give a shit about the way that you look, but your husband or your wife does, then you need to find what you value. Do you fancy a five-a-side football, which tends to be the way most guys go five-a-side football, while the missus is doing cardio, whatever.
Yeah.
Or you go and go to a book club, or you do some listen to a podcast.
Badminton.
Yeah, badminton, or you play FIFA, or
Yeah.
you do your own version of whatever they're doing, because all it is self-development in a positive fashion. When someone takes that step up, but you don't want to take that step up too, that's absolutely fine. As a couple, you don't have to follow what they do, because that's even worse. If you follow what they do and you don't do it for the right reasons, you're never going to get anywhere anyway, and you just pacify the inevitable, which is you're just trying to do something to support, but you're always going to shoot yourself in the foot to support. So you let them go and do their own thing, and you surrender, but you also support. Then the surrendering part is, oh, now I'm left with some time that we used to do that with. How am I going to fill that with positivity for me? Maybe you love spending time with that person. That's totally fine. But now they've chosen to do something else. They don't mean they love you less. It just means that they are choosing to better themselves in their format. If you feel like you're getting love less, you need to have a conversation and say, hey, when can we have date night? When can we have that time on the sofa? When can we do this? That's the conversation. But with that dead time that you've got, do something positive with it.
Yeah.
And if that means sitting on the sofa doing fuck all in your underwear, that's what you do. But but then people don't surrender. They try and fight the need to stay the same. And that's why people aren't supportive. And that's the whole, but you say it in a nutshell, but that's why people have conflict within their relationships or conflict within their friendship groups when someone else tries to change from a positive manner, because they get reminded that they need to do something for themselves. And that becomes a difficult question to hold the mirror back in your face and go, hey, what are you doing with your time now? Right, guys, and that's the end of the podcast, YouTube, whatever we're going to call it.
Still yet to come up with a name. So if you do have a good name for us, like not the Northern Lads, just let us know, and we'll probably name it that.
Yeah. If you like it, subscribe, and do everything with it, and then we'll be back again, probably in a different location. I know the people in the background are fucking shit. We'll find a different location, maybe. If not, we'll continue back and come back again. So, guys, have a great week, and chat to you soon.